YouTube! Today we're doing some Void campaign help. So today we're going to be taking a look at a few different accounts, why they're stuck in Void campaign, and how we can possibly help them out. Some of these accounts we can just beat them because they're slacking, others give us something to talk about to help you if you're in a similar situation. That's what's the case with this first account. We have right here a Mockman account. Now, Mockman has increased in popularity since the Turbo series started using him again, and he was the strongest strategy for quite some time. Before Elena came out, which was the start of last year, people were using Mockman in favor of Sword Flash, because Sword Flash used to be the way to go, then it was Mockman, and then finally people settled with Lord of Fear Aspen as the best way to go as an early player. However, if you're using a Mockman and your account's in the direction of Mockman, the common second Transcendence hero to pick would be a Lord of Fear Aspen, because Lord of Fear Aspen offers control. He can horrify the backline, steal their energy, lock them down. But here we have Thyman, who has chosen to go with Alomak, which is probably the second best choice if you were picking a second Transcendence hero to go with your Mockman. The reason, Alomak still offers some control through stun, he gives you shields, and more importantly, he's a tenant for Mockman, which boosts his damage. Right here, we have a Mockman account that has made it rather impressively to 2-1-4 in campaign, which is great to see. The fact that two Transcendence heroes have managed to get this far is always pretty cool. But let me just show you what this Mockman is doing against this Morax lineup. You see, the active skill when it comes from the Mockman will do pretty decent damage here at the start of round 2. We get some stuns out there, and the chase marks on the Morax are pretty fantastic, but the damage is not amazing, and then Morax comes and cleans us out, and that's even with a Gilded Purple Fan. So you might be thinking, yo, just run a damage artifact. Absolutely, let's give that a try. We put melodic strings on here. We're still running crit attack because we're faster, so we don't need to be running speed crit. We'll go in, we'll try again, this time with the melodic strings. So we send in one more time. There's the active skill. Big amount of damage. We get some kills that time. That stun on Morax is fantastic. But we are going to see ourselves with a bit of a problem here because, as always, Morax is going to attack and instantly melts the Mockman. So here the answer is crowd control. And therefore, talking to Thyman and the plan for his account moving forwards, what do you guys think at home is his best next choice? Pause the video, have a guess. If you said Betty, you're absolutely correct. If he builds a Betty on the account, this Transcendence hero right here, she has a reactive control ability, which allows her to trigger her active skill when she gets hit, and her active skill is able to crowd control opponents. So our friend Thyman here is going to bring in Betty as his third Transcendence hero, and she will offer some much needed control, which will give the Mockman breathing room from things like Morax, and allow him to deal with these waves much better. And as well, Thyman is saving up chests to be able to get himself a Betty core, which is going to be super duper useful. And overall, I think Thyman is making a lot of right decisions. You can see here, we've got Eloise, we've got Onkiramaru, two great tenants, we've got the Forkis here as well, we've got the Alomak, so we've got all of our tenants for the Mockman. He's 5 million attack. It's a very, very nice account. I think this is the right way to go. So get a Betty here that's going to help you beat campaign, and hopefully you'll see yourself making a ton of progress. And that's true for any account, really. When you have the opportunity to build a Betty, you might as well, because it gets you a lot of progress, because she's able to crowd control opponents. You will need the core, though. That's one of the big mistakes I see people make when they do build Betty, is they don't get the core for her. And you only need to be Tree of Origin 1 to be able to unlock a core, so that's something worth bearing in mind, that actually Betty's quite low on investment. You don't need to go all the way up to Tree of Origin 5, which can save you some stellar shards for tenants or heroes that you want to upgrade later on. Either way, Thyman, cool account. Best of luck when you get the Betty, and I hope you manage to beat that wave in Void campaign. Next up for our accounts, we have Muzen, and Muzen's account here is a Mockman account, just like the last one, but this one's a little bit different. You can see that Muzen still prioritized Alomak, but he's gone with Arania as the next hero to upgrade. The reason he's done this is Arania is a tenant for Mockman. That's good. However, we've got some weird choices going on here. We've got a Betty, which in the last one I said building a Betty was good, but this Betty is bad. The reason this Betty is bad is because she doesn't have a tree, and because she isn't tree upgraded level 1, she has no ability to give her a core, and without a core, she doesn't get the double trigger on the active, which means she's kind of sucky. I see a lot of people build Betty and then go, oh, why is my Betty so rubbish? It's because she doesn't have a core. So if you're going to build a Betty, step 1 is get to Tree of Origin 1, build a core, and this is probably a Stellar Shard issue. Yes, it's absolutely a Stellar Shard issue. So whoever owned this account before Muzen was a bit of a questionable dingo head and liked to get Transcendence heroes but didn't like Stellar Shards, therefore probably chose Crystals of Transcendence. Or Muzen's just really, really, really unlucky and went into the Compass of Transcended in Fate over and over again and just didn't get any spheres. That is also equally likely, considering Fate was the default choice here. So, whichever one it is, it's unfortunate we're low on Stellars. Big sad. But it also means this Halora sucks. Like, Halora is really good if she gets her active skill before your Mockman. And the reason you'll see people prioritize Halora before even going with Arania is because the damage bonus alone from Halora is better than the attack bonus you get from the second tenant. And that is really a crucial piece of information to know, because if you fully upgrade a Halora, let me just show you some of the things that she's bringing to the table. The first thing you need to know is when she's Tree of Origin 5 and upgraded in her final passive, she gives you 24% all damage dealt. And if you don't upgrade this, it's already 20% all damage dealt. So you're getting a whopping 20% modifier on your damage. On top of that, you've got Crimson Abyss, which triggers Abyssal Corruption, and Abyssal Corruption gives you 25% more damage from crits, which is excellent. So that is going to improve your damage output as well. And there is this final bit where there's a chance she inflicts another layer. That said, though, there are questions as to whether this is bugged. I don't know if it is. There's many reasons it could be displaying incorrectly, so I'm not 100% sure if this actually is bugged. But either way, Abyssal Corruption is something that is very strong, even if it isn't bugged or not. 24% extra damage is phenomenal, along with the extra 24 you're getting from here. So already that's like 48% more damage, and the way it works, I believe these are multiplicative. I believe Abyssal Corruption's effect multiplies whatever damage that crit is doing, so that's really good. So overall, what you want is Halora to be faster and strong with that upgrade on that sublimation. We have neither of those things. In fact, she's not even Void 3, which means she's not doing 20% bonus. She's doing a 15% damage bonus. So we're missing out on almost 10% all damage dealt from this final passive. And the likelihood is she's going to die before she does anything here. She's probably not going to get that active skill off before Mockman, and if she does live and does do the active skill, it's not going to happen before Mockman, which means Mockman will have already done his active skill, and therefore it's kind of wasted and misses, unless of course the Mockman can get another active skill afterwards and still capitalize on the Abyssal Corruption. But if that's the case, you'd rather Halora's done 2 actives, which would be really, really cool. So what I would rather do here is actually take all of this stuff off of Arania, move it across to Halora, get Halora to Tree of Origin 5. That would allow Halora to be faster, because you get the speed node here from your imprints, and you also get the speed from being Tree of Origin 5, which is enough then to overtake the Mockman in speed. And then the Arania I would just have really minimally upgraded. I'd probably get it to Void 3 and then just do the attack node just to be really on the low side, as that would maximize your attack gain for minimal Stellar Shard investment. Then I would draw my attention to Betty, get her to Tree of Origin 1, and put the core on her. So yeah, I don't think this Iranian needs to be upgraded all the way to Tree of Origin 5. I think the Stellar Shard investment is much better placed into a Halora, as that will actually give you, in reality, a much better damage performance in fights. Now, if we go take a look at the wave you're struggling against in Void Campaign, as that is our focus for today, we are struggling against Chapter 255, which is a bit weird. This is a classic wave that people struggle against, but with 5 Transcendence heroes, I would want to see some progress here. But it's hardly 5 because of the shortage of Stellar Shards. I'll try something, I'll throw a team together and see how that performs. We'll begin with Melodic Strings, we'll go crit attack, we'll go full burst damage. We've got crit, okay, you don't need crit here, that can go. That's merely a consistency thing. So where's skill damage? Is that already, oh wow, you haven't chosen skill damage. So we want skill damage there, crit damage, and precision? I mean, precision's fine, I like holy damage, both are okay. We've got more skill damage coming from here. And speed, we probably don't need. If we need to be quicker, I will tune us faster. But let's assume we don't. I'll also put Balance Strike on. Let's get real greedy here. And Control Purifies there just in case. Right, Ailamak, you're all attack because you're a tenant. You've got Unbending Will. That's fine. We'll make sure this guy has a defense artifact if you've got one. You don't. You don't have a lot of crowns. You've got Punisher for some crazy reason. You haven't got any crowns. You've got one single. Nothing splendid floating around. Woof, that's pretty rough. And you said check Mockman's stats overall. That's true. Let's have a look. Where's Mockman at? 119.5. I like this. I like this crit damage. Because that kind of bypasses him, giving himself the passive bonus to crit damage here. So I actually kind of like that. And then if we look at the other stats, our skill damage is 300%. That's really nice. And holy damage is 67. That's pretty good. So we should get a good smack in here. Should be very good. And then if we look at the Alomac, yeah, as I said, defensive artifacts, what we want to go with. I don't think we're going to get one in here, so I could slap a crown on. But you know what? I want to get greedy. Let's go with Demon Bell. Arania, probably just Demon Bell, honestly. That's all she's really good for. We'll just go attack here. What's that? Armor, block, damage reduction, correct choices. Betty can't do anything to her, unfortunately. Do you have Elusive Mirror? You don't even have Elusive Mirror. Wow, the artifact you need to perform well with the Betty isn't on this account. So in that case, I'm just going to have to give her a Demon Bell. She's not going to be very good. So yeah, everything you need to make Betty work. Elusive Mirror, her core, Tree of Origin 1, so you can use the core. None of that is here. This Betty is ass water. And then Halora, honestly, she's going to want an energy artifact too. So what I'm actually going to do, we're going to go to the Alomac. We'll give him the crown. And then I'll give a Demon Bell to Halora. And bloody hope she can do something with that active skill. She's built all for speed. I don't know why, because she's still freaking slow. So we'll just go all the slowness. It doesn't matter if she's got speed. If we got HP as a stone as well, that'd be really cool. No, we don't. But alright, let's give this a spin. I don't know if it's going to work well. But this is our test 1 against campaign here. Betty can go in slot 2. I'll put Alomac slot 1, and then we'll just kind of rejiggle them around. So the back line is like that. We'll go with Phoenix just for a bit of burst. And yeah, we'll just see what happens. I have no idea if this is going to win. We are running the Balance Strike, though, which is going to be good. And it's Melodic Strings, Mockman. Okay, we are slower than them. That's not fun. Although, there you go. Betty does trigger. She gets some crowd control on the Rogans. That's cute. Let's see if Full Burst Mockman actually sends it here. Oh my word, no he doesn't. Okay, so we're instant dying. We're getting horrified immediately. Yeah, so this is really, really bad. Okay, now I understand why you had those speed nodes on the Mockman. We need to be faster. So let's put those enables back on. This is going to give us an extra 40 speed. I don't know if that's enough. Let's find out. Okay, nope, we're not quicker here. Those Rogans really do speed up the opponents. Okay, Mockman finally goes, but not before heroes die. And this is the problem you're going to have against this wave. If someone dies, Mockman gets horrified by Aspen, which means no crit for you, which means your damage sucks. It really sucks. So I'm actually going to have to go ahead and change his stone. He needs speed crit as a stone, speed precision. Either of them two would be good. You're saying speed attack? Is the bonus from speed attack actually good here? Let's take a look. So what were we before, right? We're 6.8. Now, if I switch to speed attack, that's giving us an extra 200,000. You know what? That's not terrible. I'll take that. That's a minuscule boost for what you have, but it does take us over 7 million attack. Let's see how this goes now. So we will be faster. We lose some crit damage, which is unfortunate. But, woof. That was not a lot of damage at all. Yikes. And then he's instantly dead to the Halora pings. Yeah, that's horrendous. That's really horrendous. Even with Betty's crowd control, you're not going to be able to kill that Halora. That was really annoying. Okay, we would want Halora to be faster to maximize our damage output. That would be huge on Mockman. That would be absolutely huge on Mockman. So that's one thing you absolutely need, is Halora faster than Mockman, so that you can put out the Abyssal Corruption on the opponents. That said, though, you've had to make that Mockman super fast just so he can outspeed. So I don't even know if that's an option. You also don't have any crowns, which is annoying. It really is annoying. So what I would want to see here, honestly, if you get Betty with a core, at least you can CC all the opponents, and then in that case, you're not going to die. Right? You're not going to lose someone, which means Aspen isn't going to be a problem for you, because she's not going to horrify you. Because the Betty should live after the first hit. And then she wants to CC the entire opposing wave, so no one else attacks. And that's when you're okay. That's when you know you're going to be fine. And that's what you want to see. That's the strat you want to lean towards. That would immediately just wipe that to the floor. And I think that's going to be how you beat this. The other ways you could probably go is with Splendid Crowns, but that's a much larger investment to build a tanky lineup, and I don't think that's going to work here. So, yeah, Scarlet Queen Halora is going to ping you to death, just as Remble said there in chat. You know, it's going to suck. You're going to die. So you absolutely need to CC the opponents, just so there's no follow-up damage anyway. Because what you have to do is you probably want to run a much slower team so you can maximize damage output. But to do that, you need to make sure you can crowd control the enemies, because they will kill you if you're slower. We saw that earlier. And when you die, you get horrified by Aspen, and then Mockman does no damage. So we're looking for CC from Betty to shut them down. Halora goes first, puts out Abyssal Corruption. Then Mockman just swings in with the biggest haymaker of his life. You need to high roll the chasers, so you do a ton of damage, ideally taking out the Halora in one strike. And that should then give you at least some breathing room. And the more people you kill as well, the less pings you'll have to take from the Halora, because there's less people alive to do those pings. So that is kind of where you want to be going with that Mockman. It's a difficult wave, that's for sure. It's definitely one of the waves people struggle against and do get hard stuck against. And considering this account is not properly tuned up for 5 heroes, you are going to struggle. What I will say is you would have a much nicer time if you weren't using Mockman. That is what I will say. Anyone that has used a B-tier Mockman to try and make any progress in campaign will absolutely concur in the comment section that campaign is a rough time with a Mockman. If you want to make progress in campaign, I do not recommend Mockman as your choice, unless, of course, he's an A-tier, in which case he absolutely blows it out the water. Because the question for Mockman is simple. Does he do enough damage? Yes or no? If he doesn't do enough damage, like you just saw then, it's a rough time. So it is constantly a grind to maximize your damage output, and that's it. And you wanted to do something different, moves, and of course, this is a side account. This is not your main account. But as I said, for you to maximize this, you are going to have to tune up that Halora and that Betty. Best of luck, buddy. Let's move on to the next account. Our next account belongs to Grimkevich, and given everything we've already said, you probably look at this and go, ho, this is going to be a good one. You're right. At that initial impression, we have a Lord of Fear Aspen. Nice. We've got a Halora. We've got Elena. This is a properly set up home. Even 69 on Elena. Guy is funny. So if we take a look in the Celestial Island, and we go into the Cloud Island, and we take a look at this house, you can see this Aspen is nice and juicy with 6.2 million extra attack and everything pretty much maxed. For the Ailemak, bit of a funny missing tenant in there at slot 5, but other than that, it's okay. I would rather we had a Sword Flash here. How close are we to getting her? Not very. In fact, I would probably just swap this Vesa to Sword Flash. Then you could have a tenant there. But it's all fine. Let's have a look. How much attack have we got on the Ailemak? 4.8. That's not a lot. The Sword Flash would make a huge difference. It would take that to 6 million. If you had Sword Flash, it could even take it to 7 if she was juiced up enough. So I would lean towards swapping out that Vesa for a Sword Flash for the time being. You also don't need the Star Alchemist Holmes-Young at Void 4. You only need him Void 3 with the attack node here. That would save you the Stellars in the HP and speed nodes for use elsewhere, just in case you're short on Stellar Shards, which you are. So that's another thought that you might want to have. Anyway, we need to look at this Betty because she's not good. People keep doing this. We've already said all the different things a Betty needs, so let's do the check marks. Is she Tree of Origin 1? Yes. Therefore, she should have a core. She doesn't, and therefore, I'm sad. Artifacts. We don't have Elusive Mirror. There is no Elusive Mirror on this account, and therefore, she's probably going to be a bit weak, maybe even extra disappointing. Who knows? A Golden Crown might even be the right choice for her, given how mid she is. Maybe could go with a Rui Scepter. That might work if you've got one floating around, but I don't see one. So I guess we'll just have to see what's the waving campaign you're stuck on, and is it beatable? Because that's the main focus of today's video. And we look in here, look at that. You've got 6 mages, all of which get absolutely annihilated by Betty. Betty will take one poop on these guys and CC them immediately. So if you had Mirror and a core, instant beat the wave, no problem whatsoever. And you said Aspen has Rui Scepter. Then let's change that. Let's tune this up. I'm going to put the Rui Scepter onto your Betty. We'll go with Melodic Strings on Aspen. The speed attack is still completely fine. We'll go with the Betty here. We'll make sure she's wearing the Rui Scepter. Hopefully she triggers. If she doesn't, I'll have to do some switching. And for Freya, we don't want a Golden Crown. We want to do a round 1 active, as that will improve the damage reduction of the team immediately from her passive here. So that is what we want there. 2219 in speed is nice, but she's still pretty slow. If you've got a speed stone here, yep, speed attack. Let's give her speed upgrades as well, so she's nice and quick. Let's see if we can slow Aspen down and just accept that we're going to be slower because we want the Betty to CC. So we're going to go pure Unga Bunga damage, crit attack. Crit damage is now 100%. That's nice. We can top that up if you've got a crit damage node round here, which you definitely do. So let's remove the damage reduction Let's go full send. We want crit damage. Block could be okay here, but I'm actually going to get really greedy. We're going to go holy damage, armor break. In fact, I could go with precision because these guys are mages. That's fine. So there we go, 2259 speed now on the Freya, 2248 speed on the Aspen, so he's slower. That means now we look at Halora, we can probably speed her up 2, speed HP, 2146, so already she's getting fast. If I bump this up, can we take the Halora to be absolutely quicker? Where are we at now? 2186. I don't like it. This, if it was upgraded, would give her way more speed, because you can see the speed for the Freya is coming from the fact she's in a house, which is extremely beneficial. Halora, though, a little too slow, sadly. And I don't think there's any way to speed her up. I wonder, can we slow the Aspen down enough? How much speed's he getting here? 45. No, we can't speed him down enough. So what you need is you need to upgrade this armor on Halora. So the next check is how much armor upgrading material do we have? Not a lot. We do not have enough to upgrade that armor. So that's something you'll need to do. You'll need to get Halora's armor upgraded and also take Aspen down in speed by switching this to just a 6-star piece. That's going to move his speed down, which takes him to 203. So yeah, if you can get more speed on Halora by upgrading this, you can get another, what's this, 30 speed coming from here. So you know you can get 15, that's guaranteed. You can take that even higher. You can definitely get that to a point when this is 3-star, where she's quicker than the Aspen. So that's all right. For now, though, she's too slow. So we'll just go for a pure attack build so she's a stronger tenant. In that case, we draw our attention to Elena. She's wearing a crown. I like that. That's good. We look at Alamak. Probably want him to have a crown too, so he's nice and defensive. And in fact, or we could just go with pure Demon Bell feed. That is the other option we do here, because if we go with pure Demon Bell energy feed, then that's giving loads of energy to the Betty. So that's another option. We're going to be running Freya, Aspen, Halora, and we're going to be running Elena, Alamak. We're not running Vesa, so we'll remove the Demon Bell from Vesa. Vesa's a tenant, so we'll just give her an Antler's Cane so she gives more attack, which means I can actually run a Demon Bell on the Elena. Yep, there you go. That's 4 Demon Bells, Damage Artifact on Aspen, and then Receptor on Betty. Really standard lineup, nothing too crazy there. We've got block, control immunity, we probably don't even need here. I'm just going to go with armor for added defense. Armor break, completely useless here. Let's go for damage reduction to keep that Betty alive. Let's send it and see if we can beat this Void Campaign wave. We might even beat it first try, you never know. So we go Betty slot 1, put in all the others. We're going to run a cheeky Freya core. For the pet, we'll just put in Phoenix, and we'll see if we beat this. Here we go. So, let's start. Okay, everything's going into Aspen. That's just the Tixes doing their thing. And Aspen's immediately dead. Okay. Finally, we do get the CC here, but the Tixes just bullied the living daylights out of Aspen, which I hate. I'm actually going to get really greedy. Let's give him a Golden Crown. And let's give him Balance Strike. Full aggression, and we'll run a Tribute Reduction Purify so the Tix debuff doesn't affect us. Good way to go. So with this Betty, we'll run a Demon Bell if we've got one. Heck, we could even go Melodic Strings if we're being really greedy. Yeah, screw it. We'll put Demon Bells on everybody else. Right, let's send. Let's see what this does. A Lucid Mirror would be better. But hey, not everyone's got the perfect Betty, as we've learned today. So there you go. You can see Aspen's taking those hits way better, like an absolute champ. Betty trying to put out CC there, not succeeding. If she had a core, it would probably be more consistent. And yeah, already a bit of a slow start here against this wave. We're taking a few hits here. Aspen with another active skill. He's got a lot of debuffs on him, though, which is really, really, really unfortunate. So we've taken a lot of bullying from the Tixes, and then we're dead. The reason we couldn't beat that is purely down to the fact we got murked by Tix debuffs. And I think Tix is always going to hit us. So we need to get around where Tix is completely CC'd. So it's coming down now to high rolling with the Betty. Because a Tribute Reduction Purify can remove that attack debuff, and it's all into round 2's damage. So we need Betty to CC the Tixes. Once again, she fails because she doesn't have a core. This is really unfortunate. This is why so many people are struggling to beat things, because their freaking Bettys suck. So again, we're in a similar problem. Betty getting an active, still not CCing, dude. This is really mid. Really, really mid. I might actually switch the Receptor back on to the Betty, regardless. It could help here. We're looking okay now, though. Aspen's trying. The crown is keeping him alive. He might get an active still. No, dead. So in that case, we're just going to have to go ahead and switch in. We just need better consistency. I'm going to put in the receptor. I'm also going to check some things. This is another thing I see on accounts that are trying to run Betty. Are you doing this properly? Is your tree upgraded with the mage? Okay, mage is level 100. We gain some control immunity offset. That's good. Let's check the treasure train. Have you upgraded in the hero token the hat? No. So you have no control immunity offset coming from here. So those two things would help you. There are other ways to gain control immunity offset as well, but that's more festival exclusive stuff. Either way, we've got the receptor now in the Betty. Let's see if that helps. Okay. So again, Aspen getting bullied there immediately. We will get energy feed coming in here from the rest of the team, though. Hopefully they're going to get their actives off. There you go. There's your energy feed. Betty will trigger. She gets some CC on the Delasiums now. Her actual CC, they're hitting. One of the ticks is shutting him down, so we have less of a debuff on our Aspen, which is nice. More energy feed happening. There you go. The trigger's having much more consistent crowd control here from the Betty. That's really good. The energy feed from the Demon Bells making much lighter work of these opponents. So there you go. All we needed to do was put a crown onto the Aspen. Crown Balance Strike, such a legendary combo for your damage dealer, because you can play really greedy then. Most of the damage coming there from the Tixes, which prioritize Aspen anyway, which gives the rest of the team a free pass because they've got Demon Bells. And they are dying now, but it doesn't really matter. We've got them locked down. The receptor on the Betty making up for the fact she doesn't have a core, and that should be completely dead. Easy peasy. There you go. That's a win. And I think that same team can just breeze you through this next fight as well. What have we got? Oh, yeah, easy. Easy! Absolutely dead. We try this one again. We might want to run melodic strings here just to instant smack the opponents. But that said, though, I'm pretty sure Betty can CC the Morax before he does anything problematic. But yeah, here we go. Oh, look at that. The CC on the Morax immediately. Fantastic. The Horrify on the backline. Aspen doing good work here. Round 2 is going to be insane. Oh, mate. Now Betty's got her CC off. There you go, guys. So if you really, really, really cannot get a core on Betty, run a Receptor and run the rest of the team with energy feed, and that will eventually work for you. Look at that. Victory. And that is Chapter 3-5 cleared. And you can just go through Chapter 3-6 with that same team. And Grimkevich, you will have a great time. So there you go, folks. That is account reviews and campaign progress today. Hopefully you guys learned something about building a Betty. A lot of people doing it incorrectly and me having to tune up their accounts and help them out, or just suggesting that Betty will be the future progress for them. So yeah, hopefully you enjoyed that, guys. I'll see you next time. Thank you for tuning in. Don't forget to subscribe. And of course, have an amazing week and happy hunting.